With the introduction of easy anti-cheat and BakkesMod no longer getting any updates, the quality of life, content scene, and Rocket League as a whole is starting to crumble. So, to fix this, I decided to compile a list of the top 10 features Rocket League needs to thrive without BakkesMod. Have you ever seen someone playing one of these maps? They look super fun to play, don't they? But when you open Rocket League to try it out for yourself, there's no option. That's probably because you aren't on Steam. See, Steam is a community workshop built into their servers which allows for workshop maps to exist. These workshop maps are what let the biggest creators create and play on custom maps. So without Steam, you really don't have another option, which is a real bummer when you consider the huge catalogue of options. Workshop maps are insanely useful for training aerial control, shooting, dribbling, or simply having fun on a unique field. It's also how you see people like Western Musty do those videos like the Impossible Goal, Cup Challenge, and the Olympic Challenges. So letting everybody be able to play them would be insanely beneficial because in general, Rocket League gets boring when your only options are free play and training packs. That's why one of the main features people have been asking for forever is simply just making workshop maps a core feature of Rocket League for everyone. If workshop maps were a built-in feature on the Epic Games servers, it would allow for anyone on any platform to play and create workshop maps. It would be great to have a menu like this, similar to custom training, with all of the workshop maps available and the ability to filter through and sort exactly which type of map you want to play. And then if you enjoy one and think you'll use it in the future, you can favorite it here. This wouldn't be that hard for Epic to implement since it's similar to how Fortnite has a creative mode built in where anyone can make and play custom maps. They'd be stored where workshop maps currently are, but clicking into it would give you a whole library list to scroll through with a play and create tab up here. I mean, I personally saw a lot of growth from using workshop maps. I got better and in general ranked up, but I just wish there was a way for me to see that as a visual graph in game. That's what this next feature is. I personally use RL Tracker all the time to see how I'm performing in game, but it's such a hassle to have to open the browser, go to the website, and then search myself up. It'd be much easier if these type of stats were built into Rocket League. Match history was recently added, which lets you view all your recent games and save them as replays, which is great, but it doesn't actually tell you all that much about your performance, especially if you're trying to get into the nitty-gritty like win-loss ratio and how your rank is actually looking over the last session. Adding another tab up here for your personal statistics would be a game changer. Imagine this. You click on rank overview and get shown a graph of your rank and how you've been performing with the option to filter from each season and date. And this would be for every game mode, so you can see where you're best and where you're not the best. Up here shows your peak rating to remind you of the days you were actually good. And right below is your activity, showing how active you've been and how often you play. Having this actually integrated into Rocket League would be amazing because it would motivate more players to grind out ranked and not throw. But my teammates would probably still find a way. Anyways, even with all of these amazing stats, what if I just want to know how I'm performing in only my current session? One of my favorite BakkesMod features is the Session Summary plugin. As the name suggests, you're able to see the summary of your whole Rocket League session, with stuff like total MMR gain or loss, your win to loss ratio, and some other small information to let you know how well you played that day. There's quite a lot of variations of this plugin since a lot of people use it, and that's exactly why it would be such a great addition, especially considering Rocket League now publicly shows MMR in every game mode. This could be easily implemented as a little UI box in the top corner of your screen that you can toggle for different situations. You can make it so it only shows in the main menu, end of games, in training, or all the time. It could also be customizable in its position on your screen, similar to in Sideswipe, where each on-screen button is movable and adjustable. One of the absolute best features I think needs to happen right now is subscribing to the channel. It would really mean a lot considering 99.7% of you aren't. Anyways, back to the list. Have you ever been watching a pro game or looking back on one of your replays, looking through the players and see a card design you really like? Or maybe you want to know a pro's camera settings and bindings, but don't want to go through the hassle of trying to find their exact settings somewhere that may not even be up to date. I definitely have, but it always annoys me that I have to go out of my way to figure out exactly what decal they're using or their exact dead zone. With this feature, you'll be able to spectate a match as per normal and click this button here. A UI drops down and the player's current preset as well as the settings that were used in that match are shown to you. Now, if you find multiple presets that you really like or maybe want to compare different pro's camera settings, you can simply download a replay and go through each player player. It's like shopping, but for Rocket League cars. Counter-Strike 2 has a feature that's essentially the same thing, where when spectating somebody, you can see their loadout by clicking a button, which reveals all of their skins they're using. So if you see them using a skin you like, you can figure out exactly which one and get it for yourself. But I mean, storing all of these presets you find is gonna be a hassle, especially with Rocket League's inventory system. It's cluttered, messy, and a pain to navigate when you're trying to find a specific decal or boost that you're after. The only sort of organization that it has is a few filters and the option to favorite or archive items. I mean, while these do work, it still leaves you with an annoying system to sort through. I really like how the rlcs decals are sorted into folders, and it baffles me that you aren't able to create your own folders for organization. If Rocket League simply added a create folder option and let you put items into them, it'd make looking through your inventory so much easier. Here, as an example, I'll make a folder called cool wheels, I don't know, and click OK. Here I'm sorting all the wheels I use, and I no longer have to go sifting through my inventory to find them. And adding on to this, putting all the painted variants of one item into their own folder under that item would be so useful, instead of having a ton of variants of one item in your inventory taking up an unnecessary amount of space. And this will make the inventory so much more user friendly. Adding on to this, another great inventory feature would be optimizing the randomize button. Currently, there's only the option to randomize your preset, but you're always left with this. If you were able to maybe limit and select what items are randomized, like only the decal or the boost, car color and wheels, that would make this feature actually usable. Or even better, adding an option just down here in the garage that lets you shuffle through all of your presets and pick a random one. I personally would love this feature, as I constantly switch presets whenever I'm not playing well and want a new feel. Lightning round. Gifting system, the ability to gift friends items from the item shop, POV replays, toggleable in the gameplay settings, hitbox shower, in free play and replays, trading back. I mean, please. Ability to block some quick chats, so you don't have to deal with all those what are saves. And lastly, unlimited flips and free play. Back to the list. One of the most popular workshop maps is aim training by Coco. It gives you varying green targets to shoot at, and it's made to practice your precision and accuracy. It's an extremely effective way to train, but as I established earlier, only Steam players can play it. A really easy thing that Psyonix can implement is targets and training packs in free play. They can be placed wherever you desire in varying sizes. It'll also be cool if you can set them to move left and right or up and down as well. And we've already seen this exact concept done in a few workshop maps, with a big example being the Eversax Olympics challenge. So I'm certain that Rocket League could easily implement this feature. It'd have the same effect as aim training in first person shooters, and Valorant has this already built in. I can see this being a huge upgrade to Rocket League overall, as the only built-in training is packs that haven't been updated for years, free play, and that's it. A lot of the game's actually good training is custom made and only possible with BakkesMod or the workshop, so upgrading the base game's training would give people more of a reason to stay on and grind. Psyonix has already implemented BakkesMod's free play binds that move the ball in different ways, so I see no reason for them to not also add this training target idea. And I mean, after doing shooting training myself, I've seen huge improvement, but I just wish the scoreboard better reflected that. The current scoreboard in Rocket League is fine, but it has some flaws and needs some changes just to make it more refined. I mean, did you guys know it's off center? With the removal of BakkesMod came the removal of being able to see everyone's MMR on the scoreboard next to their name. It's a small feature, but a useful one, because it lets you know if the person on your team is gonna throw or gonna throw a little less. I mean, we already have this feature at the end of each game, so why not include it on the scoreboard? Another awesome feature for the leaderboard that would make it just that little bit better is the ability to see everyone's profile pictures. Currently, the scoreboard only shows profile pictures from the platform that you play on, which makes the icons pretty much useless for most of the time, especially for those on Epic Games, since they don't see any profile pictures at all, which makes the game feel very soulless. Alongside the profile pictures, a nice little quality of life change would be to add a small icon representing the platform you're playing on. With these additions, I think we could see a lot less toxicity, as players would tend to trust their teammates more with an associated profile picture rather than a blank lifeless box. One of the most important changes to the scoreboard, and one that I think should have been added ages ago, is demo assists. Demos are a core part of Rocket League, but currently these demos aren't being awarded for opening up the field and taking pressure off your team. You don't gain any points, and there isn't any statistic to track them. Imagine this scenario. It's a 2s game and your team has possession. You beat the first opponent, which leaves you and your teammate in a 2v1. The best thing to do here, 10 out of 10 times, is to have the first man go for a demo as the second man is taking the shot. I'd argue that the player demoing does more work in this situation, but they get no recognition, no assist, or even any points on the scoreboard. This should be changed to where if a demo happens 3 to 4 seconds before a goal and is within a certain area near the net, it counts as an assist. And if that same match you score a cool shot, you can just leave the match immediately, because this next feature on this list is... This one's a simple one, but extremely necessary. When BakkesMod was still usable with online play, you were able to enable a setting that actually saved all of your replays or ranked replays. There was also a plugin that sent all of your replays to ballchasing.com, a third-party site that acts as a hub for almost any replay you'll ever need. It even has all rlcs replays readily available, which is how your favorite YouTubers get rlcs replays for their videos. With BakkesMod no longer usable in online matches, this feature is no longer available. I personally found it really useful because I don't like having to wait until the game's fully over and save the replay that way. I usually go straight to free play, and when you press that button, it doesn't give you any warning or option to save your replay. All Rocket League would need to do is add a toggleable option in the gameplay tab to automatically save all replays or ranked replays. Having a quality of life feature like this would be so useful because it saves people the inconvenience and time it takes when you forget to save your replay. And once you finally get that replay, you can open it up and make a sick cinematic with this next feature. Have you ever watched a really good Rocket League video? Like mine? Wait-ins or sunlesses? And seeing these really sick shots. These are all made with Dollycam, a BakkesMod plugin that's already installed from the get-go. It's an extremely powerful tool that almost every Rocket League content creator uses, whether it be montages, video essays, or even tutorials. And although being super useful, it's quite hard to understand and use. But now that BakkesMod is gone, we could potentially see a cinematic mode for replays implemented into Rocket League. Having a simple cinematic system built into replays is a no-brainer, and wouldn't take long for Psyonix to set up. It could even just be a few keybinds shown in the top left corner, the same as the free play binds to move the ball in different ways. Here's my interpretation and how easy it would be to use. All you would need to do is find a replay of your choice, and on the timeline, select the area you want to make a cinematic, place some markers, and click play, as well as a few additional features like keyframe modes, slow-mos, and more camera options to make the cinematic more your own. With all of this, you'd have yourself a montage within a few minutes. Opening this door will make for creativity to be more easily accessible to the general player base, and Rocket League could see a huge surge in unique ideas and content being made. With Heatseeker being added as a ranked mode last season, it gives me hope that new extra modes could be put in the competitive playlist, especially considering car soccer after 2,000 hours starts to get a little stale. And Psyonix wouldn't even have to look far to find new modes, simply asking community figures or even working with them. They'd have a ton of different ideas for modes to make. In general, adding new extra modes into ranked will bring more variety to Rocket League, which the game has been lacking for a long time. The game saw huge success when they added Knockout, with tons of content being made around it, and for good reason. The game mode was new, fun, and refreshing. Considering Rocket League is a hard game to get into, it struggles to maintain casual players majority of the time. To really get into the game, you have to dedicate a lot more hours than you do most other games. If Rocket League added more like this, then they'd be able to maintain a casual player base more consistently. One great example of this is old Fortnite, specifically chapters 1 and 2. The base Battle Royale mode after a while got boring, which is why they added limited time modes like the floor is lava, the Thanos mode, and one shot. While they still work around the base idea of Battle Royale, these modes are different enough that it's refreshing. That's why I personally think Fortnite managed to stay relevant for as long as it has. Epic knows how to keep people hooked. They just need to do the same for Rocket League. And new modes like these would allow for new unique content to be made, which prevents drought in the community, like Rocket League is facing. Anyways, those are all my features. I'd hope to see at least one of these in game, but if you think there's any that I missed, make sure to let me know with a comment below. Thank you for watching.